On episode 31 of RVA Real Estate Talk, why every real estate agent should time block. Let's go.
You're listening to RVA Real Estate Talk with Jared Davis and Galen Parker, your source for an honest, insightful look into Central Virginia's real estate market. Combined, Jared and Galen have over 20 years sales experience, as well as hundreds of testimonials from clients past and present who rely on them for advice and assistance when buying and selling homes in today's incredibly hot and competitive real estate market. And now, your hosts, Jared Davis and Galen Parker.
I am Jared Davis.
And I am still Galen Parker.
Welcome to RVA Real Estate Talk, whether you are watching or listening. Galen, how are you?
Welcome back. I'm doing great, man. I am fired up for success.
Me too.
January, thank you so much for being just a wonderful month that you are. I love the beginning.
We're already killing it this year.
I love the beginning.
So excited for the numbers. I cannot wait to see. We just listed a $19.5 million industrial warehouse. Shout out to Francis on our team for
his very first one.
His first deal. $19.5 million complex.
I know if you're a realtor, you're listening to this and you're just thinking, I imagine getting your percentage, that commission off of $19 million your first deal.
You should call him right now and ask him about that.
I mean, he wouldn't even know what
he
to
better
say.
be working.
Yeah, I mean, you think like we sold a package last year, and we're in Richmond, Virginia, so we're not $1 million listing LA and Miami. When you watch those shows and you see the outrageous commissions and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's not us. We have average price points, $300,000, $315,000 is our exact team average price point.
Yeah.
We did a package last year that was like $6.5 million, and I told my wife, I was like, I'll never do anything bigger than this in my life, right? Like, it's just, like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? Like, unless you just run full commercial and that's like all you're procuring. We do commercial, but even that, right? Most of the time you're $1 million office space, $2 million. 6.5 was big. So to have a $19.5 million warehouse is like, I don't even know what to say about it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm loving it. I also, what got me fired up, and you and I talked about this last week, we've got newer agents on the team, and sometimes as team leads, you're just like, all right, do all these things, follow my instructions, and it should work out, right? And sometimes they don't follow instructions, but I got a message from two of the newer people. Shout out to Emily and Brittany. Emily's like, Brittany just came by my house. It was like Monday. She's like, Brittany came to my house this weekend, and we got together and we game planned, and we're going to be accountability partners. And I was just like, this is so beautiful.
I love that stuff.
I told Jared immediately, I'm like, look what they've done. They were like, they got together, they're calling leads and stuff, and they're like asking like, what should we do here, and what's some other opportunities? Can we shadow? I'm like, yes, all of it. You can do all of these things.
A women's podcast?
Sure. I would love it.
This is why it's so good to have.
Brilliant.
You have to have enough people on your team. I know this is a total sidetrack to this podcast title, but when you build a team, when you have like 1 to 2 to 3 agents, it is so hard to make it work right, because the odds that those 1 to 2 to 3 agents are all going to be best friends and love each other and have camaraderie, or even be around because it's such a small amount of people, it's difficult. But once you get past like 10 people, you start to find that you start to get people that really click, they like each other, and then when Galen's gone or I'm gone, things still turn.
They still work.
And they go well,
They
right?
still have call days,
yes.
right?
So when that stuff happens, it makes me so happy, because I just think,
I'm just proud.
I did nothing to do. Yeah, I had nothing to do with this, but you guys took initiative.
Is this how parents feel?
I don't know. We don't have kids.
Yes, it does.
I'd rather not have kids.
Let's never do that. Let's never have children.
We get the pride, we don't have to have the kids. This is amazing. We just unlocked it.
I don't know how many listeners we have, but can I
Daddy, can I have a Rolex?
I don't know how many listeners we have, but can we tell them what Owen said the last time I was here?
Listen, I love that kid.
That kid's gonna be a feature of the podcast.
He's turning 6 at the end of the month. Okay, he's not 6. He's 26.
I mean, what did little impressionable Owen say based on his observation skills of a life with Mike?
So the last time I was here, I was looking at his setup, and this setup, as you can see on camera, if you're watching on YouTube and not listening on the podcast, and he had just ordered 2 new chairs, and they were just like flimsy and wobbly, and he was like, man, these chairs are just not what I was expecting. These things are terrible. And Owen says, my daddy doesn't do anything right.
He is not Mike's mentor or coach.
Immediately after that, I put all of his toys in jail.
You're like, oh, can't he? Well, guess what? You like all the new stuff he got? It's gone now. It's going to your sister.
I was like, is that what mommy says when Mikey's at work?
Oh man, see, I don't want to be roasted by my kid, right? You know, like that's another reason 456 million of why Galen doesn't have any kids.
Galen would be beating that
like,
child.
What'd you just say?
Yeah, what's that?
Dang, there's a lot of things right.
Let's see if I can.
Very nice. All right, so what's today about? Let's do this.
Are we gonna deep dive? Mike, give us our cue. Let's do this. Deep dive. Let's go.
When I'm with you, we're going all night. No sleep. I don't need nobody, 'cause nobody else can.
Why every real estate agent should time block. This is crucial. What we've realized building a team and just talking to agents in general is that almost none of them do this. I feel like most people are like, I work for myself. I can kind of build my own schedule out. And they do that, but by doing that, they don't actually block out their time properly. This is very, 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 very true of new agents, new team agents. You know, you try to get them on a schedule of making calls every day or doing this. And, you know, it's crucial. But even I was talking to an agent last week that did... I think he did like 12 or 13 million in sales last year.
He gets a Rolex.
I mean, he would, yeah. And on our team, you got to listen to our last podcast for that. But anyways, I was talking to him, super successful guy, killer agent, super nice dude. And when I asked him about, hey, are you doing 3 hours a day of this or that? And he was just like, nah, definitely not doing any of that stuff, right? So this is good for everybody, not just new agents, not just solo agents, not just team agents, not just experience, everybody. Why every agent should time block. So what is it?
One of the things that I put in my notes over the past couple of days when I was thinking about that is that time blocking to me represents the time limits that you need to respect for yourself.
Yeah.
Because nature loves a vacuum. And if you do not fill these empty gaps mentally with some sort of structure, something's going to get done. Right?
Yeah.
If you're not doing something, it's one of the same things where you will be doing nothing.
Yeah.
And nothing could be social media. You can play on the internet, watching television, sleeping, watching Gossip Girls, or whatever you guys do.
Yeah.
When you don't time block. So I wrote this, said time blocking is also effective because it helps you follow through on your goals.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like if I've got a time, we all have how many hours in a day?
24.
You get 24, right?
But realistically, you're sleeping.
Yeah,
for a decent
maybe,
amount of that.
unless you're Steve. So you shrink that down by, let's say, 8. So now you're left with 16 hours. What are you going to do with it? Well, you're going to do something. Time is a commodity that's fleeting, so it's going to get eaten up somehow. So you need to stop and say, all right, what am I going to do with the first 2? What am I going to do with the next 3? What am I going to do with the next 5, right? So you've got... that's 10 right there. And so it's like that other 6, like you've got to block it out right there because, if you have a concrete plan, that's going to help you follow through with, have you done what you said you were going to do? Do you have the correct true intentions? Are you following up? It puts everything in a beautiful order. And as you mentioned, this is important for new agents, but to me, in a lot of ways, it's almost even more important for people who are successful and busy, because if you're a super successful and busy person, your time is not yours, really, especially in real estate. It's like we are at the whims and demands of sometimes our clients. And so you have to say like, all right, no, but between this time and this time, I can't do that. You've got to make it. And when you do it and it works perfectly, you feel so much better at the end of the day. You feel great about yourself because you've got a plan, and now you can look back on your goals and say, hey, I didn't get to call Jared or Mike or Susie or Joe back, but I will call them back. They're at the beginning of the party. But if you don't have time block, you're just like, I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I was successful. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I fell on my face. I don't know. You have no goals. You have no structure, and it needs to have a business plan.
Yeah. So the thing is, we are all inherently busy today.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you're listening to this, you've got probably family. You may have children. You're got
probably driving
spouse.
to something.
You've got so much. You've got your day-to-day. If you've got kids, they probably have extracurricular activities, and you've got to get them fed, and you got to get them put to bed, and you got to get them ready for school, and you got to hang out with your spouse, and you probably want some recreation time, and you want all of these things, right? But when you break it down, there are 1,440 minutes in a day, and by the time you sleep, you've got about 1,000 minutes left, right? So it's the 1,000-minute rule, right? What am I doing with this 1,000 minutes to further my real estate business every day? Because if you don't block it out, you will find something to say you're busy.
Oh, man.
100%. You'll be like, well, I could organize some files. I could post on social media and then browse social media and look for, potential clients to talk to. Maybe they posted up about looking for a house. Right? You'll create work to do in your head that you think is money making, but it's not money making. So what we talked about on our last podcast, episode 30, was... what did we talk about?
It's like how to be a successful agent in the first year. How to make money in the first year.
So one of the things that we talked about was 3 hours a day of prospecting.
Yeah.
So for that, right, that would be part of your time blocking. It would be 3 hours a day.
There's 180 minutes.
There's 180 minutes out of that 1,000, right? So 180 minutes every single day that you're going to spend prospecting out. For us as a team, we do a team meeting every Tuesday, 3 o'clock. It never changes. It's always the same day. It's always the same time. It's blocked out. It's in my calendar. Every Thursday, we do a call day with our team, 1 to 4. It's in my calendar all the time. That way, if somebody on the team reaches out and they say, hey, I'm looking at you, Alex, by the way. Can you
I thought about him too.
Can you come show this property at 1:45 on Thursday? It's like, no, bozo. You know exactly what's in the calendar. You know that we have call day. So, no, that's the thing. And so what you will find is that your life becomes inherently easier because now as you start to get clients that are coming in, as you start to get busy, see, the time blocking works up front because it actually makes you block the time to do the stuff that you don't want to do to make money, right? Yeah. But then as you do that and you start to get clients, this is why this is so crucial for busy people and busy agents. Now all those clients want to see houses. So they say, well, can you show me the house Thursday at 2? And I say, no, I can't. Right? And you say, but Jared, that's a money-making activity. You're going to go to a call day with your team instead of showing a house and making money? Yes, I am, because that is the fruit of all of my agents helping them sell houses. So I could meet you at Thursday at noon. I could meet you Thursday at 5, right?
Yep.
I'm going to block that time out. There's certain things in my personal life, right? Like volunteer work, going to religious services, right? Whatever that may be, that's time blocked too. So if somebody says, hey, can you meet me to show a house on Sunday morning? I'll never miss, going to service because that is a priority of mine. That's time blocked. It doesn't matter what your activity is.
Yeah.
Unless like you're dying or something, right? And I have to go to the hospital. Even then,
it can wait.
It can wait, right? Almost everything can wait.
I'm not a doctor. Am I supposed to save you?
Yeah, exactly. I'll see you, or it won't. Whatever. I'll come to the
That's why I went to service.
That's right. So, but it's so crucial because the busier we get, the more crucial it is. So, like people in my life, like family, will call me and they'll be like, "Hey, do you want to get dinner?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. When?" And they'll be like, "Today at 5." And I hate that I have to say no because it's my family, but like they still just apparently do not realize if you invite me to do something 2 hours before it happens, it's not going to happen. I've time blocked for the next 14 days of my life. We'll add you. I can add you in then. That's.
I was talking to a friend. I was like, if you've been friends with me and Jared for any amount of time, it's like you've probably just been numb to the frustration of being like, hey, what do you want to do this evening? And I'm like, you mean this evening or 2 weeks from now? Because this evening's been spoken of 2 weeks ago.
I've had a friend book me on my website for lunch.
Yeah.
I love that.
So if you're smart, if you
send me a calendar invite.
I was like, what is this address?
Galen, if we do anything, what do?
I send calendar invites.
I get a calendar invite for everything I do with this man because he's smart. He gets it. He understands that if you didn't send me a calendar invite, I'm probably not going to show up because if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't actually even exist to me. So
and I won't remember.
I
won't remember my own thing. So like I even put like stuff. I'm like, Galen, you're supposed to be here because when I wake up in the morning, I look at my calendar and if it's not there, I'm like, I'm not going to be at whatever this location is.
That's respect, right? You respect that person's time. Like that's all I'm asking for. Just respect my time, and vice versa.
RESPECT.
So like yesterday, I had dinner with a friend of mine. He's a client of mine, and we put it on the book like a week and a half ago. And he said, is what day is going to work? Pull your calendar up. I pull it up. I give him a time. I put it in the calendar. His email's on it. My email's on it. That's it. If someone wanted to show a house yesterday, or you called me, right?
Yeah.
You were like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I've got this, right?
I actually knew what you were going to do, but I just didn't know where you were doing it.
Yeah.
I was going to crash it, but until you told me it was in Short Pump, I'm like, I ain't going to Short Pump.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I put it on, and then at about 5 that day, I get a text from him that says, are we still on for 5? Yeah, so this was dinner. This wasn't a business meeting, yet he knows I'm so stringent on my calendar And some people look at that like a bad thing. Like someone's like, well, make sure you're taking time for yourself and doing this.
Like
and
I scheduled it.
I'm like, do you not understand how efficiency works? Like, this is how I want to run my life. Like, I am ecstatic all the time.
At 1:30 to 1:37, it's personal time.
Well, I mean, I get my rec time, but again, that's also blocked off. So to me, I'm like, how I cannot imagine waking up with an 8-hour day and having nothing in the calendar and being like, let's see how it goes.
Well, I don't like it where they do have something and like don't even come close to even executing that day. Like they don't even like get the first thing done, or even like on the schedule. Like they're all over the place.
Well, that's
like,
on procrastination.
Stick to the schedule. Stick to the.
That's a whole nother podcast. That is just procrastination.
Write that down,
how to not procrastinate.
How to not procrastinate. Yeah.
So it's so crucial that you're putting your prospecting time in, you're putting your showing times in, you're putting your personal time in. Like I said, don't think you can't put personal time into your calendar, right? If you want to be home with your family at 6:30 every day so that you can have dinner or whatever it is, put that in your calendar. So that way when somebody asks for a showing, you don't just book over it. Otherwise, you will book up 24 hours a day in this business. For sure.
I thought it was funny. So recently there was a realtor. She had a funny post where she said that, she just got signed up with a big coach, and she's like, man, this guy is going to unlock the secret key to success, right? And like his first thing was like, well, listen, first thing you do is wake up earlier. And I kind of like laughed because it's just like, no. But at the same time, you don't necessarily have to do that if you've time blocked your calendar. Now, maybe your time block is, yes, I wake up at 5 a.m. and from 5:30 to 6:30, sure, whatever. The issue that I have found that the coaches are trying to allude to is that if you don't have a schedule for things, you're going to do nothing. You're not going to be successful. So
you're just wasting time.
Yeah, it's like, so if you wake up at 7, whatever, as long as you've got it blocked in your calendar all the things that you need to do, then you're still going to be as successful as a person who woke up at 5 a.m. to listen to the silence of the morning so that they can meditate or whatever they do.
Well, that's it. So you want us to coach you? Great. It's wake up earlier, get more done. Right.
Do more stuff with your time, right? No.
That is in a nutshell what it is. But people pay for coaching because they're not disciplined enough to actually do it without the coach. So they need that coaching call every week to say, did you actually get up and go to the gym each morning? Did you do this, right? And that's the problem is most people are like, no.
I want to create something called the cost of accountability.
Yeah,
I just had an idea.
What do we do? We charge people when they're not accountable? Like they owe us more. So we'll coach
Not a bad idea.
$1,000 a month.
Credits?
Yeah,
like a credit system.
Yeah. So we'll coach you, but for everything you don't do that we ask you to do, you owe us more money each month.
I was like, so if you did everything, I'm like,
So if you listen, you'll be more successful and pay us less. But if you don't listen, you'll be less successful and pay us more. That's pretty good.
I like
It's the opposite of a union.
Yeah, essentially.
Sure.
Even though never, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm pro unions in a lot of ways. Forget about it.
All right.
Edit this out, Eddie.
So, is there anything else that you can think of that needs to be time blocked as far as go for it?
So I wrote out for me when I was just trying to give some thought to what needed to be done. I said, time is your most valuable commodity and you can't get it back. So there are certain things that you have to accomplish. So I wrote prospecting.
Yep.
Following up, following through, which is not the same as following up, marketing, education, shadowing maybe a larger agent, someone who's more successful, maybe your mentor, networking.
Yeah.
And then I put in personal time. You and I are big on networking, obviously. But for a moment, those are but I want to go to the following through one, right? Following up with people is very important, but there's nothing more frustrating to me and to you and to everyone for a person who doesn't follow through what we were, what you were tasked with. And I think you and I felt it more, especially in 2020 when we were talking about like finding contractors who could, do a job. They never followed through, right? It's like, I need you to go quote this. They never did it. Or you tell an agent, hey, I need you to do this, and they never do it. Following through is such a huge portion of your time because that's what's going to separate you from the guy who was like, oh yeah, I can run you a comp. Oh yeah, I can schedule a showing. And if you don't follow through, you're just a disaster. You're falling on your face because you've got a client. They're looking at you and then you just don't do anything. It's the worst.
This is where, it falls in line to time blocking a little bit where to-do lists help so much.
Oh, no, that's huge for sure.
Because, to me, it's like if you're not putting down everything that you actually need to get done on a regular basis, there's no way you're not going to forget. So not only do you have to allot the time for it, but you've got to write it down. And there's times when, I have lost money in the past off of clients that was just sheer stupidity. Just like, hey, we want to sell this thing. We're in a rush, yada, yada, yada. I get busy with appointments. I don't send them a comp that day. they call somebody 2 days later, they put it up, they sell it within the day, and you're like, great, I just lost $9,000 because I didn't send a CMA over that would have taken 10 minutes had I just, like I said, gotten up 10 minutes earlier or just done it before I went to bed or whatever. And so, man, it stings when you lose a deal like that. Or
it's teaching.
Or because you didn't time block your calls, that you only call somebody 1 or 2 times and then you finally get back to them and they say, oh, we already bought a house. Man, the amount of times that my team gets that, and it's like, man, if this should only happen a couple times before you're like, I'm never letting this happen again.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's like me. I've been stung a couple times by things, and I'm like, this is never happening to me in my business again.
And slight side note, shout out to the team because they have reacted beautifully in 2022 as far as following up on their calls. I mean, it's hard pressed now for you and I to like log into the CRM and be like, all right, let's these leads aren't getting go. They're like, oh, they were all, you called them this morning?
Yeah.
You called them 8 times this morning? You called them yesterday too? I'm like, oh, okay, well, you're all doing a beautiful job. Keep up the good work at Dave's group.
So it's a testament to the team doing what they need to do.
Absolutely.
It's also a testament as a team leader, you need to get your systems in order. If you're trying to like get people to make calls, I mean, we've got it dialed in pretty well.
I
now.
track everything that they do at this point. It's like, I know how many calls they've made, how many minutes they've been on the phone. Yep. I can track, and then we've got the new system where it's just like I pull leads that have been neglected automatically after 2 days, after a week, and so it's just like automatically it's going back to the people who will call them, and like having your leads taken away, and then seeing like someone you work with be successful with the lead, and it clearly says like this lead is assigned to Michael Resendez, and now it's closed by Galen Parker, and you're just like, that was my money.
Yeah.
What do I get? And you're like, you get nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you called them once and then forgot about them.
Definitely not getting a Rolex at the end of the year. I'll tell you that.
Rocking that Rolex.
That's right. See, so that's, it's crucial.
Let's talk a little bit for me, Jared, for just the listener. Time blocking for networking. Why is that so important?
So, man.
Hate to put you on the spot. But.
No, it's not on the spot. I mean, I am a giant networker, and I can't tell anybody how to build their real estate business because everybody does it differently, right? So, like I said, we've talked about definitely prospecting as far as making calls to leads. You may be calling expired. You may be calling FSBOs. You may have leads coming in. I have built my business on networking. I always joke with the guy in my old office, Chris Elliott, because he gets in the office at like 7 a.m. every day and he blasts hundreds of calls every day. You know, he's on the phone, he's crushing it, he kills it. He's way more disciplined than I am. I always joke with him though. I hope you're listening to this, Chris, because I outproduce you every year.
We'll send you the link. Don't worry, Chris.
Can we cut this? Can we cut this link and send it to Chris Elliott?
A special teaser.
That's right, just for him. Because every time I talk to him, I see his schedule. I'm like, you work so much harder than me.
He's time blocked to a T.
But if you're like, Chris, will you come have lunch with me? He's like looking at his watch the entire time. Like he's got to get back to his phone. And I have built my business on who wants to drink margaritas with me every day, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that is the biggest, most crucial part of my business, to the point where I'm thankful, yet I joke on a daily basis how annoying it is that everywhere I go, someone's like, hey, Jared, and I don't know who they are most of the time. Because I've built just that much of a name within the city that it at this point has become comical. It's probably 3 to 4 times a week someone's like, hey, Jared, and most of the time I know them at least 3 times in the last month. I have had no idea who was talking to me, but that's because we have literally just built our business around networking. Who wants to go out to other realtors, other investors, flippers, whoever it is, because if we can build the relationship on what value can we offer, whether it's, hey, if you want to find flips, we'll find them for you because we're networking with wholesalers. Or if you're a wholesaler, we want to network with you because we're going to find buyers. Or if you're an agent, we want to network with you because we want to help you grow your business either on our team or through EXP. Whatever it may be, that to me is probably the biggest chunk of time I spend on a weekly basis now.
I think a lot of times we get people that are like, you and Jared, or you get to go to like somebody, you're always at a different restaurant. You're always out eating something. I'm like, yeah, but it's not like it's just like, oh, I love to eat out a lot. I'm like, one, I'm rarely ever there alone.
Yeah.
I'm always there with like another agent, another client, someone that I'm trying to network. I'm trying to build something with that person.
Yeah.
And so it's like, not like we're just out running around different places, even though we love the nice things, but there's a reason. It's part of our business plan. It's really networked out. It's time blocked out. And so if you want to come and shadow and witness that, by all means, we want to drink a margarita with you.
I mean, my wife asks me on almost a daily basis, like when I leave the house, it's always, what do you have today? And I give her my calendar. And then she typically follows it up with, "Are you eating dinner with somebody?" Because she just knows that my life is built around, not every night, because I like to be home with my wife or I like to take her to dinner. But she knows that there's probably at least a couple times a week where it's like we either have an agent dinner, we either have a client dinner, we have an investor dinner, we have a partner dinner. There is something, because we're furthering those relationships. And that is how I've built what we've built.
So that that's a perfect answer as to why networking is so a critical portion of some of the things, and obviously prospecting. We've talked about that ad nauseum, but following through, all of those things. Another huge big one, and we'll go into this probably another episode. Education, like different education pieces that you should be involving yourself in, whether it's reading a book, whether it's listening to podcasts, whether it's just sometimes I think the best education is like just having conversations with people.
That's why the networking with other agents is so big, right?
Yeah,
even if you're not at EXP, even if you're like, I don't want to recruit people, great, whatever. Before I was at EXP, sat down with realtors all the time because I would always
100%.
get something out of it that they were doing that I could copy, and vice versa.
I was on Zoom before Zoom was, because I'm like just trying. I'm like, hey, can I just borrow some of your time and just like talk to you face to face? So,
and cliff note on education for time blocking: you're driving as a realtor all the time.
Yeah.
Literally, I hope you're driving and listening to this right this second. Podcasts.
that's the real driving for dollars. Am I right?
I love music. I love music. I have a shower playlist every morning that gets me pumped up. But when I get in the car, 90% of the time, I'm listening to either a podcast or an audiobook or something, because I might as well fill that hour a day or 2 hours a day that I drive with something that's going to be valuable to me.
Very nice.
So time block your drives as well.
And we hope that you guys have listened to this and you realize the importance of time blocking. If you have questions, you're not sure what to do or how to put it, Jared, how can they reach you?
They can get me at Jared, Jared, at centralvarealty.com.
Hit him with that Instagram.
__ the Davis Group. And yeah, if we can help you build your team in any way, we are helping teams all over the country and even the world build up their business. Galen?
If you need me, it is your realtor's favorite realtor, RVA. Galen at centralvarealty.com. Thank you.
That's it. This is another episode of RVA Real Estate Talk. If you have not already, please like and subscribe. You can check out our other videos. We're going to be doing more training videos for agents. We have another channel that's devoted to Richmond, Virginia. So if you're in our local market, you should check out that. It's living in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, first episode out. Or soon
it's
be
about
out.
it's about to launch.
drop.
We've got everybody
That
working
hotness
on that.
is about to drop. I'm excited.
Yeah, so this again, episode 31, RVA Real Estate Talk. Thank you for watching or listening. We'll catch you next time.
If you have a real estate question that you would like to ask Jared or Galen, reach out to them at Jared at centralvarealty.com or Galen at centralvarealty.com. Who knows, it may even be featured on an upcoming episode.